Good day. Welcome to Streaming Idiots. I'm Tom Sinclair, the chief streaming idiot. I have had so many comments from people who said how appropriate it was that you would create a show called Streaming Idiots. And I think they were trying to give me a compliment, but somehow it didn't just come off quite like a compliment. That's okay. That's okay. I am hard to offend. I've got really thick skin. And, most people intend their things not to be hurtful. They're just trying to be constructive. And we appreciate that. Streaming Idiots. Well, this is Alpha Show number 3, and we are keeping score, at least so far. And the whole idea is that we can talk about all things streaming. We can talk about cameras and mixers and PCs and software and hardware and all sorts of stuff. Today the topic is encoder wars. We have put 3 encoders to battle with each other and done live intensive testing, at least as intensive as I can make it, to determine which is the best encoder. Well, here's how it is. And I'm a cheapskate, so I basically use anything I can get my hands on for free or next to free. Flash Media Live Encoder, the good old standby version 3.2 from Adobe, is a software encoder, and we'll use that in our test today. VidBlaster uses that coder as its native encoder because VidBlaster doesn't have an encoder of its own, so it uses that one when it does the behind-the-scenes stuff, although VidBlaster can use any software encoder through its virtual video device. We also have tested, and in fact are using to live stream right now. The cast is software manufactured by a company called Telestream out of California, and built into Wirecast is an encoder. Now, Wirecast has switching capabilities and graphic capabilities and similar capabilities to VidBlaster, but we're only using the streaming function to stream this show to you live. And so that's what we're testing in the encoder wars is the encoding efficiency of Wirecast. The third and the newcomer on the block is hardware encoding. I want to thank my friend Andrew from Australia for convincing me, and it took some time over time, to investigate a company called AVerMedia. AVerMedia, among the variety of hardware devices they have, it's one called the AVerMedia Live Gamer HD. Well, if you've watched this show the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the Live Gamer Portable, which is a USB device, but I've been having USB problems, and this device probably hasn't been working properly because of that. But I had a small windfall, so I went out and I got the Live Gamer HD, which is a PCIe card, and popped it into the back of the PC. It's got, let's see, I think I've got, do I have some pictures of that? I bet I've got a couple of pictures here. Let me see if I can pull them up for you real quick. Doesn't take but just a second. If I can find out where I put them, I probably put them in pictures. You would think somebody that's a professional like me would be better prepared, but that's just the way it goes. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. The card looks like this, and it's PCIe. It's got what appears to be 2 HDMI ports and 2 3.5 audio ports. Oops, that's not the next file. Let's go to the next file here. And actually, we're going to go back one more. Yeah, there you go. You can see HDMI on the left, 3.5, 3.5 on the right. One is an input, one is an output. They come in pairs. And so what happens with this card is that you can install it in your PC right next to your video card, and then it comes with all sorts of cables. Every cable I needed came with it, including 2 different kinds of DVI to HDMI converter cables, which was really great because that's what I've got on my excuse me, my video card is DVI out. And so I was basically able to take the video out of one of my monitor ports and plug it into that card, and then take the video out of the card and take it to my monitor. So I didn't sacrifice a monitor. I still have a monitor that I can use as I need to. And then I didn't do anything on the audio side, because what I found out was I don't really need, let's go back to that other slide. There we go. Don't really need these audio connections, because in the software that came with it, I was able to pick up my Behringer mixer. So this is intended as a capture device and as, or excuse me, not and, but or, a capture device or a streaming device. It cannot function as both at the same time. Now the Live Gamer Portable, the little red cell phone guy right here, will also act as a capture device in the sense that it can capture and record. But that is not an option for this particular Live Gamer HD. So the Live Gamer HD we set up as a encoder, a streamer, and it streams H.264 with the AAC audio codec. And so we tried to level the playing field and set up Wirecast with H.264 AAC audio codec, and then Flash Media Live Encoder H.264. It doesn't have, or I didn't purchase a license for the AAC codec in Flash Media Live Encoder, so I used the MP3 audio codec for that one, and then set up all three of those to come out of VidBlaster, or excuse me, to take a video feed from VidBlaster and then the audio feed from a mixer. And I recorded all of that. I did two different tests, one sort of a stripped down test that I'll show you first, and then one that was a little bit more, put a little bit more stress on the PC. The first one I used BSR Screen Recorder to record the software. It wasn't a good recording. I didn't discover it until later. Sorry about that. There'll be a couple of audio glitches in it. And then I used something called Debut Video Capture from NCH software as the screen capture software for the second one. Now that particular software, Debut Video Capture, was a little bit of a CPU pig, so it tended to push my CPU up higher than it otherwise would have been had we just been streaming a show or something like that. So with that introduction, let's get on with it. The first video here is going to be kind of a stripped down version showing all three different products streaming for maybe a minute, minute and a half, something like that. The test is very basic and kind of a not very fancy. I basically just took Windows Task Manager and watched the average CPU score and wrote down the highest high and the lowest low, and that was the score for that software. Anyway, I don't need to tell you. Let's cue that up right here. This is going to be fun. We've got three encoders that are going to be battling it out today. The first is good old Flash Media Live Encoder 3.2, a free download from Adobe. Second will be Wirecast version 4. Third will be a hardware encoder, the AVerMedia Live Gamer HD, which is a PCIe card that I've installed a couple of days ago and been playing around with. We're going to try to do an apples-to-apples comparison as much as we can. We've got VidBlaster up, as you can see, three modules that are running, the monitor module running the program, a player module set to loop a 36-second video. We'll let it loop probably for about 2 or 3 passes. And then the output module, and that currently is set to VidBlaster VVD, which will be picked up in Wirecast and Flash Media Live Encoder for video. And then we will switch it over to Screen 2 for the Live Gamer HD, because it'll be picking up one of our monitors. We'll be using H.264 on all three of them. For video, for audio, Flash Media Live Encoder will use MP3, and Wirecast and the AVerMedia Live Gamer HD will use AAC. So it's not quite an apples and apples comparison. We'll be streaming 864 by 480, 30 frames a second for video, and 44,000 hertz at 128 kbps for audio. So that's the sort of the ground rules here. So let's see who we want up first. Let's bring Flash Media Live up first. Flash Media Live Encoder. And we'll pull it up and drag it over a little bit to the side. It is picking up the VidBlaster VVD, which we'll turn on so it's active. The format is H.264. Frame rate is 30 frames a second. Input size 864 by 480. The bit rate is 1500 kbps. Output size 864 by 480. On the audio side, it's picking up the mixer, MP3 mono, 44,000 hertz, 128. We are streaming to Decast, and all three of these will stream to the same location in Decast. So far as monitoring CPU, we're just going to go based on CPU usage right here on the left of the screen. And right now we're rocking along 10, 23, 7, 17, 9. We've got 4 cores that are currently asleep. So let's see if we can get those woken up. We'll go ahead and start our video. Well, let's start encoding first. Just encoding nothingness here. And then we'll go ahead and start our video. It's set on loop. And we'll turn the volume down low, but you can hear enough of the music to know that it's going. So let's keep some highs and lows here and see 20, 22, 17, 24, 12, 25. So 12 and 25 are our current high and low. 16, 22, 21, Media Live Encoder. And what we're going to do is let this run through 2 or 3 times, and we're going to take the high and the low. And our current low is 25. Our current high is 25. Our current low is 12. And then we're the others. There's another 25, another 25, 20, 19, 20, 24, 17, 24, 20, 22, 21, 17, 21, 17. Boy, we haven't seen another 12 since we started. 22, 16, 24, 20. This is tedious and boring, but we'll let it go one more pass. This is Flash Media Live Encoder. And really what we're looking for is the difference between each two. I mean, the percentage numbers are going to be different on every PC, but the difference between them, all of the things being equal, is really what we're looking for here. Haven't seen anything higher than a 25, haven't seen anything lower than a 12, and that looks like it's going to be pretty consistent. Okay, there's a 15, they're getting down in there. Let's go ahead and stop our video. We'll exit out of it. And let's pull in Wirecast next. So we've got the output module still doing the VidBlaster VVD, so when we open up Wirecast, it should see that immediately. And Wirecast wants to get up there above the top, so let's see it. Okay, so Wirecast. In Wirecast, we're going to go to the broadcast settings section, and we're going to see we actually have 2 streams set up, so we're going to disable one of them. The other one at the Decast Streaming Services channel is the same basic specs as the Flash Media Live Encoder. A total bit rate of 1628K, which is 1500 video, 128 audio. I'm not going to go through the depths of it here, but suffice to say, it is set up pretty much as closely as you can get it set up to Flash Media Live Encoder, again with the exception of the audio module difference. So let's go ahead and set it to broadcast, and we'll set the the player to play. And now let's catch our highs and lows. There's a 26, 14, 22, 19, 29, 24, 23, 24, 29, 19, 26, 17, 25, 23, 21, 27. There's a 30, 18, 27, 20, 18, 20, 21, 15. Our current lows are 14 and 30 for Wirecast. 23, 16, 18, 21, 19, 30, 21, 26, 22, 32. Oh, that's a new high for Wirecast. 32, 30, 25, 30, 18, 26, 23, 25, 28, 23, 30, 24, 23, 26, 23, 26, 7, 23, 18, 30. Well, we kind of get the high and the low being 14, which we haven't seen. Well, there's a 14. There you go. And the high being 32, which we haven't seen. And so that's, kind of the high and low anomalies. But that gives you the spread. And that's really what we're interested in, because it's the highs that we really worry about. 90% of the time it may be 20, but if it jumps up to 30, then suddenly we may not have enough CPU to do what we need to do. So let's go ahead and stop our player, and we'll drop our stream, and we'll exit Wirecast. So far the score is Flash Media Live Encoder 1225, Wirecast 1432. I'm a little surprised at that, I would have thought. But it also may be that I'm somewhat new to Wirecast, and I may not be doing it as perfectly as it need be. The last one we're going to pull up here is the AVerMedia Live Gamer HD. Now it's a hardware controller, but it does have some software that goes up with it called AVerMedia Rec Central. So let's pull that in, and we'll let it bring up its screen. We're setting it to stream. The video source is HDMI, which is basically out one of my video outs on the back, and then into this card, H.264. It's streaming at 848 by 480. That's as close as we could get. 1.5 megabits per second, frame rate 30 frames a second, audio bit rate 128. On that, it's going to Decast, the same sources. And it says, let's just go into the Pro here and just double check everything. Capture device audio in, line 7 is the mixer, that's right. HDMI, there are all our setting choices there. So we are ready. And we're gonna connect, make sure we can connect there. Connection successful, all right. And it brings up this little icon in the taskbar, in the sys tray up here, and so we'll tell it, let's do one thing first. Let's come over here and say display 2 is going to be active, so it's going to pick up display 2, and we're going to tell it start. And in a monitor off to my left, I can see the video now playing. That's what AVerMedia is picking up on. As you can see, there's really nothing to see. The program is just this flashing icon in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And let's get some highs and lows on it now. 13 is a low, 21 is a high, 14, 23, 21, 15, 21, 14, 17, 20, 12, 20, 13, 22, 23, 16, 21, 12, 18, 16, 23, 16, 20, 22, 16, 21, 18, 25 is the new high, 20, 16, 21, 16, 21, 25, 12, 19, 20, and as you can see, there are actually 3 cores that are sleeping during this whole process. I wasn't watching that with the other 2. 12, 26 is the new high, 15, 20, 23, 14, 21, 19, 16, 25, 21, 23, 24, 14, 21, 19, 16, 22, 15, 22, 21, 12, 23, 20, 14, 21, 20, 19. This is the AVerMedia Live Gamer HD PCIe card installed and, yeah, not really tweaked to any great degree other than just setting up the settings that I just showed you. Haven't really tried anything else with it other than the streaming function. Haven't gotten a new high or a low, so we're going to stop our player, and we'll come up to AVerMedia, right click and stop, and then we will quit, so that is no longer in the memory. So it looks like the score is Flash Media Live Encoder 1225, Wirecast 1432, and Live Gamer HD 1226. Very interesting, very interesting. Not what I expected. Not what I expected at all. Anyway, back to the live show. And we're back live. How about that? So, kind of interesting. I part of me expected Wirecast to run away with it because of all the great things I'd heard about the Wirecast encoder. Part of it, I expected the hardware encoder to run away because, hey, it's doing all that in the hardware. And I thought, well, maybe this test, it was a stripped down test. There was hardly any software. There was VidBlaster running. There was whatever the encoder software was running. And then there was the screen capture software running. And I thought, well, maybe we need to do it with something that's a little more robust. I mean, something where we're really stressing the PC and the difference will become more notable. Because, percentage-wise, there wasn't a whole lot of difference percentage-wise in this. I mean, 2 out of 12 is what, 17%. That 17% is a lot, but it's not that much. So I did a second video that showed a similar test, but using my regular VidBlaster Guy streaming profile. So let me cue that one up. And we'll have a look at that one. Okay, back to Encoder Wars. We're going to try again. This time we've got the full VidBlaster Guy show profile going here with some chroma key and some players sitting out there and some overlays and all sorts of stuff. We're currently running at, let's see, we'll pull in the CPU monitor and see 46%. We're off for something called debut capture. Our BSR screen recorder kind of bombed out and started clipping. So we'll try this one and see how it works. It adds about 15% overhead to everything else. So it's pretty, it's a pig. What can we say? Anyway, let's repeat our test. So we're going to turn on the output module. We're going to fire up Flash Media Live Encoder. And if all the settings are the same as they were before, we'll go ahead and start. And let's bring up there we go. So we're 71, 69, 75, 74, 72, 70, 74, 65, 68. There's a new low. 74, 71, 70, 69, 76 is a new high. 72, 67 is a new low. 75, 68, 72, 69, 72, 76, 73, 76, 74, 70, 72. And it sounds like the audio is cut out on this. If it cuts back in, I'll be quiet. But that was all for Flash Media Live Encoder. It ended up with a score of 45 on the low side and 63 on the high side. And now I'm going to start Wirecast. And one of the things that I have to do again is to go in and disable the second stream in Wirecast. Currently, Wirecast is set up to do a kind of a low quality, low resolution stream when we do it live. But for this test, I wanted to go ahead and set it where it was just that single stream to the cast, 1500 kbps for video, 128k bps for audio. The basic difference between the Wirecast stream and the Flash Media Live Encoder stream, of course, was the codec for audio, AAC in Wirecast versus MP3 in Flash Media Live Encoder. Now, since you're not hearing the audio that I recorded with this, it was very exciting and stimulating audio at this point. It was kind of like reading out numbers and, 67, 64, 60. And so for about a minute and a half, we went through and let Wirecast encode and stream, and then kept an eye on the task manager, the CPU, tried to monitor the CPU there, basically just the average CPU, that is, the average all those cores. Now you can see from the cores that they're pretty well distributed. Cores 7 and 8 tended to sort of happen opposite of each other. The final score for Wirecast was 41 on the low and the high side. Now here I'm switching over the output module from VVD to I think it was source 2, no, excuse me, display 2, which is my left side monitor. And so actually I could see everything that was being streamed by the Live Gamer HD. I could see that full screen in my left-hand monitor. I'm not sure whether that impacted CPU usage or not. Here I've loaded the Live Gamer the Live Gamer HD. I've now started the software, and we're going to start monitoring it. The setup of the card was really pretty simple. I was really pleased because I'd struggled so much with the Live Gamer Portable, the little cell phone device jobby. I mean, it's not really a cell phone. It's just the same size as a cell phone. I had struggled with that one, and probably because it was just a bad card. But I did think that having a card in the PCIe slot in the computer would be an easier way for it to do its job, as opposed to going out over USB. Plus, with the challenges that I've had in my USB here, I thought, well, we'll just eliminate that and put the card in and see how the card performs, whether it can make a difference, and comparing it to software. And so we did. This is the Live Gamer HD test. The result of this test was a low of 23 and a high of 54, and that compares to Wirecast with a low of 41, to FMLE with a low of 45. So 23, 41, and 45 on the low side, and then the AVerMedia with the low or with the high on the high side of 54 compared to Wirecast at 64 and Flash Media Live Encoder at 63. So there was a pretty significant savings in CPU when the PC was under load. It was not so significant when the PC was not under load. The scores were, in fact, Flash Media Live Encoder, when the PC was not under load, Flash Media Live Encoder was the winner. When the PC was under load, Flash Media had the highest low score and the lowest high score, which of course was not the way you wanted it to be. So it was a very interesting test. I think our video's over here, so we'll go back to live. interesting test. Definitely an interesting test. It was not what I expected, at least not on the low CPU usage test. The very first test, they were virtually indistinguishable. It was when we went to a pretty high utilization of the PC, 50% or better, where the Live Gamer HD really began to kick in. One of the things that, obviously this is a test, so we're trying to boil down to the basics, comparing one to another, apples to apples to apples. The advantages that I see in Wirecast is that it can encode and stream to more than one location. It can go to more than one CDN. It can go different resolutions. It can use different encoders. And so with that complexity, I'm sure also comes, a CPU hit. Flash Media Live Encoder, you can run sometimes, I haven't always gotten it to do consistently, but you could run 2 instances of Flash Media Live Encoder and therefore stream to more than one location. Or with VidBlaster, you could use the built-in Flash Media Live Encoder to stream one place and then stream a separate stream for Flash Media Live Encoder running separately. A little bit of a jury rig, but I've done it successfully in the past. The limitation with the AVerMedia Live Gamer HD is that currently it only streams once, one stream to one location. I understand that there have been some feature requests put in with them, and that AVerMedia is particularly, what's the right word? It's not really sensitive or susceptible, but they like to please their audience, and so they have made a lot of changes to their software over the recent times, and hopefully this will be one that gains some attention from their point, is that you would like to be able to stream to maybe 2 different CDNs, or a high resolution stream and a low resolution stream. To some degree, the high-low resolution will be fixed as more and more CDNs offer that re-encoding service themselves, and don't expect you to send 2 or 3 streams to them, so they can just turn around and send them out. Whereas for example, with YouTube Live, you send YouTube Live one stream, and they'll re-encode it and have it available in 2 or 3 streams for live, and then 3 or 4 streams for. So, good test. I'm glad I did it. I probably will keep a close eye on the AVerMedia Live Gamer HD. I'm going to keep the card and hope that they figure out a way to upgrade the firmware and make it so that it'll stream better by streaming to more than one location at more than one bit rate. The fact that it has the AAC built in, I think, is a bonus, because there's some folks that some places where you can't send an MP3, so there's a built-in bonus there. And I would think for somebody that is building a PC that's going to be kind of a single source is not really the right way to put it. I guess maybe sort of a dedicated source, and it's streaming 1 bit rate to one location. The pickup in terms of I didn't do the percentages on it, but it's almost a 40% savings in the difference between the numbers for Wirecast and Flash as compared to the AVerMedia Live Gamer HD. So, the summation I would make is that if you are looking for a hardware solution to the encoding problem, that you probably want to take a good long look at this card, because I think for the dollars, dollar-wise, I think you're looking at what was it, about $170, $180 US. It certainly is a lot cheaper than adding a second PC to do your streaming for you, and it has a lesser of a hit for CPU than using Wirecast or Flash Media Live Encoder. So that's the conclusion. That's the conclusion. It's kind of interesting. And that's if you're in a high stress, high CPU environment. That's where the big benefit goes. I'm Tom Sinclair. This has been our third alpha of Streaming Idiots. We hope you'll tune in again next week live on Wednesday. We come on directly after that VidBlaster Guy. And it'll be 3 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock in the United Kingdom. But that's only next week, because after that, the United Kingdom goes into British summertime, and it'll be back to 8 o'clock. So on behalf of myself and the future Streaming Idiots, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us live, hang around for the after show, and if not, watch us on YouTube and tune in next week. So and we still don't have any graphics or music to take you out, so we just sort of fade into oblivion. Take care and have a good week.